So the spotlight technique. Now we're going to be using tonight the Blessings of Home. And the spotlight technique, I'll just show you a sample with another card. And I've used, for this one, I've actually used the Butterfly Brilliance. And I used a sentiment from this Happy and Heartfelt set. I just love the script on this, it's just beautiful. Now, just to explain what the spotlight is, it's just where you do a black and white image on the back and you just highlight one area of the actual card and colour that in, and it really pops. And you cut the circle out of the background so that it all looks as one, except that one area is coloured. And just a little tip, this is using this big butterfly stamp set. I haven't been brave enough to cut it, I know some people do, but I always find these big stamp sets, I use the Stamparatus with them because often I never get the whole thing stamped clearly or anything like that. It's always good to be able to go back, plus it's a nice big area to put the stamp on. Okay, so as I say, we're going to be using the Blessings of Home. And the other technique I wanted to share with you tonight was some simple masking. So let me just start off. Where is my stamp? Here it is. And we're going to start off with the first stamp. She was just a little bit wonky today. So I'm going to ink up and just black memento. Gorgeous big floral stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in the middle there to start off with. It is a stamp that has to sort of go this way because the flowers are going in that direction. So I have got, this is something I just get from our stationery warehouse here, and I'm sure that you must have it wherever you're watching today. It is post-it notes that are completely sticky over the back. On the cover, I haven't got one to show you, but on the cover it has sort of like arrows going out to the side, which is just indicating that it is totally covered. So I'll just show you, I have got some already cut, but I just wanted to share one tip with you. I'll just do that. And pop it on. Now, really importantly, when you cut something out for masking, when you cut on this mask, you need to go just inside the black stamp line. The reason being, when you stamp over this, there's a slight ridge from whatever, even though this is thin, it still creates a slight ridge. So you need to be able to have it right next to the other image that you're wanting to mask it from without a shadow effect. So just cutting, and as you can see I'm moving the paper and not the scissors, and cutting inside the black line, just inside, not too much, all the way around, and then your stamping will not have that halo effect, which is perfect. So I have got a couple here already. This had to go onto 2 bits. Now hopefully I am, here's the other bit. Oh, I might have lost it. That's alright, I'll have to finish cutting that one. So this one just goes, now I have used these to stamp, so it could be a little, just pop it inside the line, and get another, that's right, we'll finish cutting this one, and it won't take very long. So what I'm aiming to do is to have the whole of this card front covered with the don't want to have the images all overlapping and making a big mess. Get out of the way. You can keep these, of course, once you've done one. I do find if I'm doing something like this, though, I do need more than one cut out because it overlaps. You have one over the main image, but then it overlaps again on the side or something like that. So it's quite handy to have more than one cut out. Right, rocking along here. So I hope everyone is well. As I say, we've been in lockdown. We went to try and get online groceries today. Click and collect. My husband is a doctor, is an essential worker, so he has to go to work. And I thought, well, I'll order it online and he can pick it up. But weeks and weeks and weeks you cannot get groceries for click and collect. So that foiled that idea. So I'm going to have to make him a list, and I don't know how good that will be in the sense that I'm getting what I need. Okay. Pop that there. Oops. It takes just a little bit of sort of fiddling around, but once you've done it the first time, as I say, you can just keep using it, so it works out really well. Okay, so that's covered. Let's ink up our stamp again. Hi Shani, all sounds crackly. Oh, you're kidding. And I've been crackling on for ages. Hang on, let me just swap. Okay, is that better? Let me know. Oh, you haven't heard a word I've said. That's probably a good thing. I do apologise. I don't know why sometimes it does that. That is really, really odd. Much better. Oh, thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to just stamp here. And again on the other side. And, oh, excuse me. I do apologise. Hi, Shirlene. Thank you. Lovely that people say. It's awful that you have to listen to a bit of crackle. Very frustrating. If you can't hear my dulcet tones. Okay, so this one, I think is just going here, and then I've got another one for here. So I'm just covering it all up once again, and we will do. It really does come out, whoops, upside down, really does come out beautifully. And one more. Okay. Well, I don't need to do the last one. What I'm going to do is I'll show you the finished. I'll show you this one as I'm peeling it off. As you can see that is all grouped together. And I have cut the circle out already, all very sticky paper, of the one that we're using. Oh dear, it doesn't want to go. Okay, so this is what it looks like, all complete. And I have already die cut this out of the inside. Get rid of that mat, I'll show you that in a moment. So I've die cut that out and we're going to colour it in. But isn't that just beautiful how it just looks like one big bunch of flowers with no gaps, but no messy overlapping. I just love that basic basic masking technique. Okay, so I'm going to colour the flower with saffron. Now this is the dark, so I always like to go in. I think I've always said to you that I like to go in with the dark and then go into the light. Everyone has a different way of doing it. I find when I do it the other way, for me personally, I get a bit of oversaturation and sometimes a bleeding over the lines. So I tend to stick with what I know works for me. So obviously I do the other way just a little bit wrong. So you do whatever is best for you as well. Okay, I'll go in again with the dark. Now the inside I'm going to do with pumpkin pie. Thanks, Shani. How are you? Right, I'm going to do this with light again. This is the reverse actually this time because I'm not needing to do shading as such. This is just... This stamp is great because it has the shading already for you, which is fantastic. So I am also going to use a bit of the light pumpkin pie to go in here where there's stamps shaded, and come out again with the light. So with oh, did it go well? Nice to have in-person card classes again, isn't it? So good. I just started playing with blends, and that's what I would recommend that you do yourself. Lots of trial and error, I would have to say, but you end up really getting good experience if you do it that way. So this is the dark granny apple green, and I'm just following their shading. And this is the light. So why I like to go to the dark first, I find it easier to blend because I draw up from the dark into the light, and it helps me get a cleaner blend on where it goes from light to dark. And if you want to touch up a little bit more with the dark, then it's just quite easy to go back in and add a bit more. So the two other pens that I would always have is the Colour Lifter, which is this white one here. So if you do make a mistake or you want to add highlights, that pen is perfect for that. And then I've also got a light smoky slate, which I'll show you in a minute, for adding a bit of shade. So I'm going to use dark blackberry bliss for these small flowers here. This stamp set is so versatile. It's part of that suite with my favourite, with the honeybee home in it. Now I've got Daffodil Delight for the centre here. Now I'm not quite sure what works there, so I'll have to pop it in the card soon to see what it is. Now I'm going to do these ones with Purple Posy. So this is dark Purple Posy. Okay, I'm not colouring. I always feel conscious when I'm doing something like colouring that it's boring to watch. But like watching paint dry or something, watching someone else colour, because it's nothing happening quickly, is it really? Now there is some gaps there which I will add. Okay, and I'm going to use the light. Now I am going to come back in with the dark Blackberry Bliss in here as well, just to add a bit more depth in there, just a little bit. There we go. Much better than watching paint dry off, thank you. I do get very conscious of it though, that, whoops, I forgot to add a bit of the dark Blackberry Bliss there. I love blending and colouring and using the Stampin' Blends and, you know, all that sort of stuff. I find it just so therapeutic. Love colouring. Now I'm going to go up again with the light, and I'm going to just leave the top quite light so that it looks as though that is more in the sun than the rest of the flower. And that's where you could use your colour lifter as well. If you wanted to add some highlights. Now, let me just bring this over so that I can make sure that I'm going to be colouring. So that's, whoops, that's not right, is it? That must be round, where are we? No. There we go. So that's purple, that is the orange, and yep, cool. Good to make sure I've got it right. This is this one in here again. And a bit of light. Do that in here as well. I guess you get, as I say, you get your own ways of doing colouring with blends. I like seeing which colours you choose. Oh, thank you. I decided I would not go for my favourite colour, which I always tend to go for, which of course I'm sure you are aware is pink. I went for, well, this is pretty close to pink though, isn't it? I must admit. There we go. And this is so saffron up here. And we will add a bit of dark as well. Finish off with some yellow. Where's my yellow? Here it is. This is Daffodil Delight, shouldn't say yellow. And a bit of pumpkin. This doesn't look like pumpkin pie, does it? Find things on the plastic tend to lose their colour. And oops, a bit of green. Let's pop these out. Oops, throwing them around now. Okay, nearly finished the colouring. Do a bit of green in there too. Okay. Now the grey is really handy, as I was saying, to add. It's very light, so you can add it into places that you know warrant just a little bit more shade. I just find it sort of finishes it off really well. You can't really notice it that much, but I think it really does add to it. Right, let's do a bit around there. Excellent. Okay, let's now pop that on to the black circle. You see it's all come through there. So pop that on. I wanted bright colours that popped, so I picked sort of quite vibrant colours. Now I'll just put some dimensionals on. Oops. So yes, we're in isolation here until Sunday, I think. As I was saying at the beginning, so lucky that no one else here, mind you, probably no one heard it with the crackling, no one else in the house has contracted the virus, just my son. Which is very, very lucky. Okay. And he's so much better now. Now I have used this Splatters embossing folder just to give a bit of texture on this. I just love this, how it's just lots of blobby paint texture. It's really, really nice. And roughed up the edges. So all I do to rough up the edges is I open my scissors all the way and just run them down. And of course that is a purely choice thing by you if you don't like that. And I've done the black as well. Whoops, gosh, this glue is a bit juicy. Got a tissue here somewhere, I think. Don't want to get that everywhere. Okay. And just a thick basic white card base and tent fold. And I am just going to glue. Oops, that's great. No, falling off. Just hold it for a second. And put that on there. Okay, the other thing I wanted to do was just show you with the blends. If you haven't got the colour that you want for your ribbon, you can easily, which I'm sure you probably already know, easily just colour it, which I might do with the light one. It is so quick because this is alcohol based, the pen. I probably didn't need that long, but that's all right. It dries really, really quick, so you can colour embellishments, you can colour twine like this, and you can make sure. Now I'm not worrying too much if it's got white. I've intentionally have done it sort of like that, so it's sort of like tie-dyed, so to speak. And I'm going to tie that into actually no, yes, a bow. I'm going to put it behind the sentiment, but the sentiment's quite long and skinny, as you'll see in just a second. Just giving this just an extra bit of time to dry. If if I tie it. Okay. So I've used a sentiment from the stamp set. And we did have, where has it gone? Where has it gone? That's very odd. It was here. Oh, here it is. It is here. Okay, so I've just white embossed that on a bit of basic black. So I will just cut that, I think, on a bit of an angle there. And then I will pop this. Quite like this trend at the moment with having the bow underneath the sentiment. And actually, I think it might look better to the side, like so. Yeah, that's easy. Okay, so let's pop this on. I've got this black dimensional run here. So the prep, I suppose, for this technique is the longest if you're doing the masking. The prep for actually making this card without the masking is super quick. You just stamp a black image, or it can be brown or something like that. It doesn't need to be, obviously doesn't need to be black, but I think the contrast is good with the black. And then let's pop a glue dot over here. But yes, you just stamp, cut the circle out with the layering circle dies, and you are done. Okay. That. A bit of trim. Hi, Benita, welcome. I meant to say, Benita, I know I can't. I've been getting trying to get Catherine, the guru on technical stuff, to look, but once a live is finished, not like Facebook, you can't reply to people's comments. So, just in case you ever think I'm ignoring you, I think I've probably said it before, but I do worry about that I can't reply. Now, one more little thing that I have to add, of course, is the bumblebee. And I've dropped my glue dots. You're in Europe, aren't you, Benita? Just worry about all of Europe at the moment. Just so scary. These poor Ukrainian people. It's just in this day and age, it's just shocking, isn't it? I just can't. Oh, no one can really believe it's happening, but yeah. Okay. Let's just add some of these. This is pale papaya, not pale papaya. Oh, fresh freesia. Yay bees, yes. Favourite, yes. Sweden. Oh yeah. Hope I just hope that it doesn't go further afield. It's just super scary because nowhere in Europe is very far from each other. Are you really? Yeah, it is very frightening, I'm sure. Very frightening. So thinking of you all, that's for sure. So finished. So butterfly and the blessings of home. Two very different spotlight techniques, both gorgeous, I think, and that one is just very simple, and I've just added a few extra bits to this one. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you give it a go. It is really a fantastic and easy technique to share, to do in a class or to do yourself. So aroha everybody, and see you next week. Bye. Stay safe. Really stay safe.